Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello and welcome to today's Battletech review. Today we're going to look at a more recent one, especially in my neck of the woods. Those things haven't been super common. Let's say in the Rimwords region. Core words, you will probably have seen quite a few of those. The Hellion is a light mech from clan Ice Hellion that didn't take part in the massive clan invasion and didn't get that big boost in that period. A lot of mechs we remember from the clans are really from that early clan invasion period and maybe a little bit during Operation Bulldog. Machines like the Hellion, which were dedicated to clan Ice Hellion, is probably not the most popular or most fancy machine out there for most Inner Sphere commanders. But it is a good thing to look at and is a very decent machine. So let's get into it. I'm not going to go in depth into what an actual Ice Hellion is. I've never seen one. I've seen most of the clan totems in one way or another, at least in stuffed in some museum. But the Ice Hellion itself is an animal I have never seen. Clan Ice Hellion, however, is another thing that we've barely had any contact with. Even amongst the clans, they were generally viewed as a bunch of weirdos, kind of the same family as the people in Blood Spirits or Fire Mandrill, but these guys favored speed above everything else in their military units. Every single interaction people had with the Ice Hellion in the Inner Sphere was basically they show up, they challenge people to various trials, and they get beaten. They don't have the best reputation around, and I don't think the fact that they're gone is a huge factor. One thing Clan Ice Hellion did was show up at the doorstep of Clan Jade Falcon and basically try to steal their entire occupation zone. They were calling trials on every single planet, not knowing what was really going on, what kind of units they were going to face. It was just a let's go in, let's try to fight everybody and show just how awesome we were. Things got progressively worse for them, and they actually managed to make Clan Jade Falcon look sensible, which is a fairly hard thing, especially looking at that particular era of clan history. Fairly weak, the people of Ice Hellion were then absorbed by Clan Goliath Scorpion, which was one of their great rivals, before Clan Goliath Scorpion also decided that they had imperialist ambitions, but they targeted something that was a little bit more comfortable to invade than the actual Inner Sphere or any of their fellow clans. So people started to wonder, well, what mechs did the Ice Hellions really have? That's a bit of a nasty one because we really don't know. There's 3 mechs that we have general knowledge of that were built originally by the Ice Hellions, and none of them are top-of-the-line performer, let's say. The Ice Storm is a crazy fast light mech with overall average performance. I would say it's a decent scout, but it doesn't do scouting all that well either. The Ice Ferret is a mech that the Clan Wolf actually stole from them, basically, and was one of the important mechs during the invasion, but overall, with time, I would say the Shadowcat replaced it as the 45-ton Omni-Mech of choice. Finally, we've got the Hellion here, which is now a staple in Clan Ellsworth and Goliath Scorpion's Toman, meaning that it is sticking around, but even there, who knows where it's really going to go. The Hellion itself was introduced in 3059, a little bit too late to have a real impact in the Inner Sphere, as the invading clans did not use them in their first 2 waves of invasion, and afterwards, well, it showed up and nobody in the Inner Sphere really paid attention to it because there were a whole lot of other mechs and other things going on. Clan Seafox did manage to capture a whole load of them and sell them in various occupation zones, sometimes more closer to trading than actually capturing them. It was an uncommon sight at the time, and then Clan Ice Hellion did their whole Operation Ice Storm, where they lost a whole bunch of them to Clan Jade Falcon and a few of the other powers nearby. As the Ice Hellions basically died off, part of the production of the Hellion moved to Clan Ellsworth, who enjoyed the design for its mobility and aggressivity. The plant at Schwastad is now the one pushing those out in the Inner Sphere, meaning that it's one more machine the Ellsworths have a monopoly on that ends up being popular with other people. The Ice Hellions themselves were absorbed by the Scorpion, and the Imperial Scorpions decided that they needed to start building the Scorpio Imperio, Scorpion Empire, whatever you want to call them. And nowadays, they also build them on Prosoma War Works in Valencia. It's a little bit out of the way, well, quite a bit out of the way, to be honest. Getting access to them is not super easy, but I do know some Clan Seafox people who do the runs. Go over there, buy, a trinary wort, and come back. Now, do the Homeworld's clans still build them? Well, that's a better question to which we don't have any answer because, well, we just don't have any contacts with them. At 30 tons, the Hellion uses all available technologies, at least at the time of conception, to save as much weight as possible. Nowadays, you could probably stick an XL gyro on there and a small cockpit, but even that, I think, would be a little bit overkill. At the heart of the machine is a 210 XL engine, giving it a cruise speed of about 110 kilometers per hour, while you also have a mask allowing you to get boosts of speed up to 151 kilometers per hour on short periods. This is all cooled down by double heat sinks, which is pretty much standard for a mech in the clan hardware. The body is made of endo steel. It's protected by 5.5 tons of ferrofibrous plate, which is a full 1.5 tons more than the more common Kit Fox. You still get 11.5 tons of pod space, which means you've got about a third, maybe a little bit more than a third of your weight in weapons and equipment, which is perfectly valid. Prime configuration is a really nasty piece of work, and it's really meant to murder other light mechs and scouts, and even medium mechs at time. You're a little bit thin on armor, like most light mechs would be, but you're fast enough to dodge a bunch of things, so, you'll be able to take out enemy command vehicles and command mechs if they're not too big. Your main weapon are basically a set of 4 ER medium lasers spread throughout the body. You've got 2 on one arm and 1 on the other, and the final one is mounted on the top of the head, meaning you always have something to stay in the fight. To threaten command vehicles, exploit holes in armors, and other things, you get 3 streak 2 tubes of SRM spread between the left and right torso, meaning that you have a little bit more firepower at a decent range, and it can be quite a problem. At longer range, you have a 10 rack of LRMs, giving you a very decent long-range experience, but I don't know. Maybe it would have been better served as something else. I mean, it's a Omni-Mech, so you can take it off and replace it with more medium lasers if required. It really is a basic all-around design that's going to be able to fight a variety of things. Dango configuration is, of course, a retread of this, and it's a little bit more specialized. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, and I think the Ellsors went at it the complete wrong way here. The Streak SRMs are replaced with improved one-shot models in order to save on weight, and the 10 rack of LRM is still on there. I would have expected it to be a damn Streak LRM at this point, but hey, they didn't change that. The lasers are replaced with 3 medium pulse lasers in the arm and an ER small laser in the head. Honestly, here, go with the Prime rather than this one. You will be better served. Echo configuration, on the other hand, is a downright menace to unarmored target, civilians, and, just quite a few different things. I would say it's really your clan version of the Firestarter, at least in this particular configuration. You got 4 flamers spread between the arms and the side torso, and it's backed by a pair of AP Gauss, which are very good at taking out infantry. Against ARC targets, you get a pair of improved heavy medium lasers or heavy medium lasers, depending on what is on hand, and it allows you to delete buildings, other mechs, vehicles, and quite a few different things. You also have a 4 tube of SRM in order to do some tank hunting, bring in some specialty ammo like Infernos, or just about everything else. To top all of this, you also get 150 meters of jump range, which is quite reasonable. I've seen some with ER flamers as well there, giving you a little bit more range for a little bit less fury experience. Overall, this thing is going to be great in quite a few situations, and scouting, just like the original Firestarter was. Charlie configuration is a bit more specialized than the Prime, but it is also a under-killer. The arms on this one are 100% ablative with no weapons mounted, but you can still use them to punch people, so that's pretty useful. The side torso and the center torso now share a set of 4 ER medium lasers, all guided by a targeting computer. This all supports a 6 tube of advanced tactical missiles with 3 tons of reloads, enough to have 1 for each of the range band, or just load up on eye explosives and run right behind someone and press the delete button. This thing works really well, and I've seen somewhere they move the lasers to the arms as well to spread the love around, basically making the mech a little bit more durable. Heavy lasers had already been invented when the Hellion entered production, so they didn't have to create a specific hotel configuration to stick heavy lasers on it. Bravo configuration is what would be an hotel configuration on every other mech, and this one goes really hard with a heavy large laser, which basically uses up most of your heat sinks if you shoot it, even with 3 extra 1 being added. To top this off, you add 4 extra heavy medium lasers and a heavy small lasers to round things up. You've got versions with improved of all of those floating around as well. This thing will likely kill whatever it shoots at. The problem is you're probably going to kill yourself due to the heat. It's a trade-off. On the other side of the spectrum, alpha configuration is a little bit odd because it bucks the trend of the Hellion and generally uses it as a support unit. Your only close range, well, arguably, since an ER medium laser is, as good as a large laser most of the time, is mounted on the top of your head. Each arm and the center torso now feature a 10 rack of LRM fed by a ton of ammo each, allowing you to be a mobile bombardment platform, or to set up mines, which is arguably probably even worse. You could use smoke rounds as well, but three LRM-10s filled with smokes is probably a little bit much, but 3 of them filled with thunders is rather scary. Golf configuration is a bit of an odd duck because it mounts a Republican one-shot TSEMP cannon on the left side. One-shot weapons are never my favorite, and TSEMP weapons are even less of a favorite of mine. Even so, I have a hard time pronouncing the names of the weapon to begin with. Outside of that, though, it is fairly reliable here with 3 heavy improved medium laser, which is pretty darn good, 2 on one side and 1 on the other, and that 10 rack of LRM that you normally have on those Prime Hellion. Not a bad design if you take out that one-shot EMP cannon and replace it with someone else. It just is what you can do. Pods. Foxtrot configuration takes advantage of the speed of the Hellion to serve as a scout and as a mobile sniper. The centerpiece of the design is the head-mounted active probe, giving you eyes all around your head, which is pretty nice. You are fairly heavily armed still with an ER large laser and an ER medium lasers, giving you pretty darn good range overall. ER large lasers are quite fancy if they're the clan versions, and ER medium lasers, well, I keep saying that they're basically large lasers. This all backs a 6-tube of SRMs, giving you, just about the ability to take out tanks and just drop smoke or, all sorts of fancy things. To destroy unarmored infantry and cover your retreat, you get an ER Flamer and a pair of AP Gauss rifles, which are still pretty good, as well as anti-mech weapons. The ER Flamer is a little bit fancy, it's a little bit finicky as well, but I do prefer them a lot over heavy Flamers that some people seem to think are really good. I don't like having to carry explosive fuel around. Fusion weapons are generally better. Delta configuration I would call it all-rounder, even though it doesn't have anti-infantry equipment, which generally is something that you need to include to really be a good all-rounder. The main weapons on this one is either that 15 rack of LRM or the ER large laser. Both are great weapons and give you very good engagement range. Once things get a little bit closer, you get a pair of heavy or improved heavy medium lasers, giving you significant punch that is going to run you a little bit odd. So you do have to be a little bit careful if things get close, but not that bad. It's very good at what it does, and it's going to be serving as a sniper if necessary, a scout if necessary, a brawler if necessary. It just does the work. Finally, pop-up configuration is another one of those close-range brawler that is meant to get into your face to blow you up. It features some utility, however, since it does have a tag in the head, combined with an ECM, well, sometimes an active probe. It really depends on what is needed for the mission, while you also have a supercharger to give you even more speed when needed. With a supercharger, a mask, and standard movement, you're going to be able to basically cruise around 150 kilometers per hour in your Hellion, or you can get burst of speed of up to 180 if necessary. Your main weapon are a trio of heavy improved medium lasers, giving you very nice punch, but you also have 8 micropulse lasers, 3 in each arm and 1 in each side torso, giving you very nice accuracy, but at really short range. meaning that you will need that top speed to get where you need to be. This is also backed up by another set of 4 ER micro lasers. That's a whole lot of lasers. You are going to run aught if you start shooting everything, especially the improved heavy medium lasers. But I mean, if you get behind someone with 8 micropulse lasers, things are going to turn really nasty really quickly. While the Kit Fox is probably the most common 30-ton Omni-Mech for clan forces out there, I think the Hellion is probably the more solid entry in the Book of Grudges for the Inner Sphere. The Kit Fox does have the ability to mount, a large weapon like a Gauss rifle or something like that, but being as armored as it is, well, it's going to just die to a stiff breeze because it's fast enough, but just not fast enough, if you know what I mean. The Hellion just does everything the Kit Fox does better, except maybe the super long-range sniping with a Gauss rifle, but you don't really need that on a 30-ton mech. It's decently armored, it's decently armed, it's really fast. It's not something that you can ignore for very long before you start feeling the damage it starts piling on your unit. And unlike the Kit Fox, an Hellion will probably not die if you look at it sideways. I know there's a bunch of various personal configuration for those things out there. I did say a few modifications I would do on some of them, and I expect there to be more over time and more people to start using that design in the future, depending on if the Jade Falcon start building a better version of the Kit Fox, or if the Ellsworths start building more Hellions. So I thank you very much for listening to me for so long. I hope you guys have a very nice rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.